This guy's moonwalking on ice.
Welcome to Lab Podcast, episode 15, joined by a very special guest this time around. I always say special guests, but they're all truly special in my heart.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
We're joined by actor, producer, Ethan Hwang. You may have seen him in Rice Boy Sleeps, a recent indie film that has dropped. Umbrella Academy also is another one I think would be pretty popular. And yeah, thank you for coming on, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I'm excited.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really get to. We haven't talked at all. I've known you just based on I think we did not TIFF. It was the Asian International Film Festival. Real Asian.
You guys were there?
Yeah. Well, we
shit.
filmed the award show.
Right,
for last year, which is where Rice Boy Sleeps.
Right.
Yeah. Debuted. What do you say?
Premiered. Yeah, open for. Yeah, open
Yeah,
for.
right.
Yeah.
And so it's 2023, and then so I saw the film after the fact, and
Okay.
and you were the main actor.
Yeah.
And I mean, the theme of the film was something I really connected with personally, and so I knew you from there. And then I guess I don't know how you and Coven or the rest of the lab guys kind of talked. And the other Ethan,
Yeah.
the less famous Ethan Lowe. Yeah, you had mentioned that you're like a chill guy, and then you would love to help on the pod, and now you're here.
No,
So
yeah,
thank
absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
No, I met Coven and Ethan through like an influencer event, like birthday party at Sabrina's birthday party.
Ooh.
And Coven and I talked for like a long time. Like we just
Mhm.
clicked. I mean, how long did we talk for? Like an hour or so? And we were just talking about our shit and everything, and then Ethan was like, yo, we got like a studio out here, like lab or some shit. And I was like, oh, I'll come by. Like it looks like, it seems exciting. So
Yeah. Well, thank you.
But yeah, no, we just clicked from there, became like really close. We started hanging out. And yeah, I'm just excited to be on this.
That's
How'd you
awesome.
like the movie? I didn't know you guys watched it.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the way
Thank
it's
you.
shot, the theme, everything, and of course, the acting is amazing.
Thank you.
I'll say, yeah, I loved it because, I mean, we always talk about the immigrant story, and we lived it ourselves,
Mhm,
right? But
mhm.
to see it, not necessarily romanticized, but like to see it, also not on the big screen, I guess technically, but in our world, it's the big screen,
Mhm,
Real
mhm.
Asian International Film Festival. And I don't know, something about it just really spoke to me, and I really appreciated that lens and that point of view from the storytelling.
Right.
And I felt like it came from a really unique place. And also, specifically, it was in Canada. So
Yeah.
I think I can also kind of had a
Yeah.
little bias in connecting with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought it was amazing.
Thank you, man. Yeah, no, I got a lot of people talking to me about that and saying like it really connected with them, and it's funny because non-Asians were very skeptical about how they were very they're comparing it to Minari a lot and saying
okay, I see.
they were asking my director like, oh, like what do you think the differences are between this and Minari, and he would get so pissed because he wrote this before Minari even came out. And so like the thing is for people to compare that, is that in itself like a microaggression just because it's a Korean immigrant story? Are they going to compare that? It's two different two completely different stories. And like it's funny to me because Minari didn't really touch up on the racist aspect, like the sort of the stereotypes and all the bullying that you had to go through.
Yeah.
Whereas with Rice Boy Sleeps, I think it did touch up a little more on it. And with Rice Boy, there's a lot of actually deleted scenes. Yeah, there's a lot of like deleted scenes with like especially my part, which I understand because it is a 2-hour film and it's really long. And like my director had to cut down on a lot of footage. So I understand it's like it's no hard feelings, but like there was a lot more story about my character and the stuff that he had to go through with his friends, trying to fit in with his white friends and things like that. And
it was like too raw, or like
I feel like it might have made non-Asian people, like white people, uncomfortable a bit. Yeah. So I think that's why he also cut it out too, and sort of focused on the mom's story as well.
Right.
But yeah, I think like it's not bad. I just think that it's funny how like we still kind of have to cater towards being comfortable with things and
It's
like
interesting in that
yeah,
regard
yeah,
because the whole theme of the story is that like you're not supposed to.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then you're also while in the back end also like trying to cater
Exactly.
towards it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, why should you have to care about how the audience feels when it's your movie? You know, you still have to feel, I
Mm.
guess. So that's the one thing that sort of was a thought when the movie did come out. But other than that, like, it was still, I love the fact that I could connect with so many, you know, different Asians in the community, and see like all the inspiration and everything. And I actually just recently did a film in the U.S. called Isle Child. It's coming out,
Ooh.
and it's a story about an adopted Korean kid raised by a white family.
Oh.
It's a true story.
Oh, okay.
So that's coming out. It's a full feature length, directed by
This year?
this year, yeah,
Yeah. And is there sorry, directed by?
directed by Thomas Kim,
Okay.
and he did originally was a short film called SI, and then it got picked up to be a full feature length, and then I just ended up taking that part. But it's gonna come out. And I think it's funny how a lot of those films, it all basically did start with Minari, I guess, but it sort of like almost created a trend where people wanted to talk about their stories and like.
Right. I feel like that opened the floodgates.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there was already more mainstream, or we're talking about Crazy Rich Asians, or like movies, Everything Everywhere All at Once, where talking about. I mean, they don't really necessarily touch on the average normal man or a person
Exactly.
and a family, and they talk about like a very glorified version of that.
Yeah.
But it's nice that seeing more Asians in mainstream media also made it more comfortable to talk about more raw
Absolutely.
stories.
Yeah.
And more real stories.
I think like the thing is with like Crazy Rich Asians, and I remember when like that movie first came out, everyone like loved it so much. And I
Yeah.
was just like you're talking about rich people and their drama. Like it didn't really fit like anything that I really cared about.
Yeah.
You know, and I couldn't connect with that in any way. It's like, you know, I'm not fucking crazy rich. I'm not,
Yeah.
like that's
You probably see some people in your family or distant family
Yeah,
where
yeah.
like it's probably happened,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like you didn't live that life.
yeah,
right?
exactly. And I could never connect to that, and it just didn't entertain me at all. And then, you know, there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh my god, like I love the movie, everything." Like I understand, but it's just like it's weird how that film had to be the first one where it had like, you know, a full Asian cast and everything. And like, you know, I wouldn't say it disappointed me, because, you know, it's great to have a full Asian cast and all that. It's just that I don't think it had to start with that story, and it kind of
Right.
made it worse for a lot of things.
Yeah. It definitely kind of went into some stereotypes in a way.
for sure.
Where you're just like, all right, well, like the rich, like fobs, like fresh off the boat. Actually,
Exactly.
that TV show specifically was pretty
Yeah,
interesting too. Fresh
yeah,
off the boat.
Fresh off the boat. Same with Kim's Convenience.
Yeah, I think those were the first ones to really tap into
Mhm.
the Asian immigrant life. But I think in a film setting or like a storytelling setting, then something like Rice Boy Sleeps, I think I connected with a lot more.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm excited to see your next project as well.
Thank you, bro.
Now,
Yeah.
I guess we kind of hopped into it, like, right, nice and hot, but sort of, well, Rice Boy Sleeps was not your first project that you've
No.
done in acting, right? Umbrella Academy came before, and there was a one or two before that. Checking on your IMDb. Kind of just walk us through how you discovered acting and how you got into the industry and things like that. Because you're pretty young already,
Yeah.
so I can't imagine, I can't imagine like what the conversations or the decision making is like when you first decide to enter the industry.
Yeah, so I started when I was 13, 14, and I had never done acting like in my life. I never even did drama or anything.
For real?
Yeah. So like my main sport was like I played like rep hockey. I played like AA hockey, and like
wow.
played for up until I was 13. I played for almost like 10 years. So it was like all I've known, just the sport. And so, you know, my parents pushed me in that, whatever. And then all of a sudden it's getting to the point where like I had to make a decision because I was going to high school, and hockey, I was coming up to my draft year, and, you know, I was only in AA, I wasn't in AAA or anything. So, you know, my parents were like, you know, are you going to continue with hockey, or are you going to like focus on school more? And then a close family friend of mine, I call him my uncle, but he started a TV show called Second Generation, and it didn't really do that well, but it was my first acting gig, and he needed a younger version for his lead role.
Oh.
And so he couldn't find any young Asian kids, So he asked me if I wanted to do it because I fit the age, and I was like, yeah, why not? Like, I'll just do it. My dad was like, yeah, just do it like for once. It was like a one time thing maybe.
Yeah, just for fun, you know.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, I ended up getting picked up by the lead's agent.
Oh.
Yeah, and she ends up signing me, and then sends me all these auditions and stuff. And I remember like the first 3 auditions I just booked immediately. Like it was
Damn.
yeah. And it was like a few commercials, like a couple commercials, and then like another like small like TV show. And I was like, this like
yo, this is
could-
easy.
Yeah. I was like, okay, maybe this could work. And looking back on it now, I think there just weren't any Asian kids.
Huh.
I was like probably the only one. So when I go into the audition room, I would go in with other kids and I would see like my competition almost sort of, or people that are going for the same role, and I was like the only Asian one. And it was like maybe 1 or 2, but like it was just really like funny to see. I was like, I guess I like have a better chance. Like if you think about the odds, right?
Right.
If they're gonna choose an open ethnicity like casting and they're gonna choose one ethnicity, I have a better chance at that if they're gonna choose Asian. But anyway, I think my 4th audition I got was Umbrella Academy. I had no idea
Wow.
it was Umbrella Academy. It was sort of like they hid it and they made it. My agent had told me it's like a really big audition for Netflix and everything, and I did the audition, left, and I didn't hear back for a month, and I was like, oh, I didn't get it, But a month later, like I think right before I'm going to high school, I get the role, and I hear like I end up getting the role, and I was like, oh, like, and
Wow.
all these emails start coming in, and it was like crazy, like set up, like all the stuff that I had to sign and everything. And then, mind you, I was still playing hockey, so my draft year, that's when contact starts. So when you start body checking each other and shit, like you start hitting each other in hockey. And I was playing in like Kingston, I think, and that game, it was like only a week after I found out I got the part for Umbrella Academy.
Okay.
And this guy just body checks me like the back of my neck, and I go flying into the boards, and I brace, and I break my arm.
Okay.
And then like it was a bad break too, like like the both bones here like got like just went down, and I was like, fuck, like I don't know if it's like gonna heal properly or anything. Luckily it did, because I was so young and I was still growing, like the growth plates were gonna replace it anyway. But like I couldn't play hockey anymore.
Right.
And also
Naturally.
like I wasn't sure if it was gonna heal by the time we had to film for Umbrella Academy.
Oh no.
So
Okay.
like my parents and I were like my parents were telling me like I have to make a choice now. Like, are you gonna like still continue hockey? Because, and that was still on the table because I'd spent so much time and my parents' money and my parents like supporting and for like almost my whole life playing hockey, and I was like, you know what, like it was hard to let go basically. So I had to let that go.
It's only known as well.
Yeah. And so you know what, I was just like, we'll see. Like I tried to heal my arm up until when we were filming, and I ended up filming for Umbrella Academy. And by the time we ended up filming, dude, it was so scary because I thought they were gonna recast, like me, like my character.
Yeah, for
like,
real.
They were looking for other Asian kids, and I think they couldn't find anyone. So
Hey,
like
okay.
it was like a liability thing. Like if I got hurt on set, like it's over. Like I get my insurance money or whatever. Like it's gonna cost them a lot. But at the same time, I understand why. Like it's hard to film when someone has a broken arm, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I get the cast off. I had a full arm cast, and I get it off early to film for Umbrella Academy, and I had like an arm brace, and I don't think the bones were like connected properly still.
So it's a little.
It was a
messed
little
up.
weird, but I powered through it. I took like Advils every day, just like tried to get the pain out, and
And this is
filming-
like right at high school. Like,
yeah, like literally like this is still like right before going in. Like I think this was
Okay.
like December, like up until the new year, and dude, it was so scary because Netflix, it has such a big production. Like it's
Natural
unlike
production.
anything you've ever seen.
Okay.
It feels like an industry like this. That's the industry standard. Like that's the highest you can go. There's like so many people that you don't even know. So many people doing different things that you have no idea. Like it's kind of overwhelming. And only getting to acting like up until that point, it kind of like shocked me, and I was so nervous, always scared every day on set.
You're just thrown into the deep end.
Yeah, with a broken arm too. With the in the back of my head, the looming thought of being kicked off the cast because I had a broken arm. And so if you watch the first episode of the first season of Umbrella Academy, the first time we come out in like the bank when we're saving the bank robbery, I come out of the bank vault, and when I opened the door, I had to use my left hand, not my right.
Even though you're naturally right.
Yeah. So if you watch it, you can see me open with my left hand and hold my right hand down, and I didn't realize, but when I held my arm below my heart, like down, my hand will start swelling up, and I would go lightheaded. And there's a few pictures that we had to take for the TV show that they had to print out on the walls and everything. This one photo shoot took really long, and I had to keep my arm down. And dude, I felt like I was gonna pass out and fall over. Like it was bad. Like it was like I was losing consciousness. And we were wearing these like masks, and you can't see out of the masks. Like it's really hard to see out of. It's like literally just a piece of cloth. And like that was like, I think that like experiencing that in such a hard setting sort of did help me in the future of my career. Like I can tolerate more,
a lot
more. Like you know, like PAs and everything on Netflix, like they're very like, they're great people. ADs, like they're like, you know, some of the best on set, and you know, they're always like asking if you need anything, whatever, blah blah. And then from then on, I always realized that a lot of PAs and ADs like always tell me like, you're very easy to work with because you don't ask for too much, whatever. You like, you know, understanding. I'm like, yeah, because I filmed with them for like I was like basically disabled.
Handicapped.
Yeah. I was like, but yeah, no, I think that really helped me in my career, I guess. Moving forward, I just knew how to handle things. Like my patience, I understood patience a lot better in those settings.
It helping
me with my career. Yeah, like I could feel more patient with a lot of things. And when you're on set, like I think half of it is just waiting, dude. Like a lot of it's just waiting around. It's almost boring. And I think that's what a lot of people don't really realize. Like you think it's all gonna be exciting, and like you're just kind of waiting there, and then they call your name, and it's all of a sudden you have to fucking like go up on camera. So it's very like, there's a lot of switches, a lot of like a lot of like times where you just kind of have to like just lock in and just forget about everything and you know, do it. And I think
what a crazy story. I mean, I feel like the typical story you hear when you get into acting, first of all, later on in your life, and then you talk about having to do so many auditions and never hearing back, and then it's just such a slog and a grind. And hearing your experience, so you're just like the fourth audition, you're like Umbrella Academy, like right into it.
Dude,
you know?
yeah, I'm fortunate, man. I'm really fortunate enough to be in the situation I am in, and I think that really does allow me to be like, have some sort of like purpose in my life. Like I could finally understand like what I want to do and what really fulfills my, you know, my heart. Because for the longest time, like playing hockey and all that, and just doing schoolwork and, you know, just sort of coasting through my life, like I didn't really love anything. I never had a passion. And I think that's one of the biggest things I had to figure out for myself. And I think acting, or just the art in general, or that, you know, that area of film and things like that, it really does fulfill me. Like it makes me happy. Like I can,
that's amazing.
Yeah, just get up like it helps me get up in the morning. And I think that's why I can connect with so many of other artists, and it because we both understand that we're both taking risks and you know, just putting everything aside and just fully going at it. But yeah, it's I mean, it's not like I'm booking roles all the time. Like I've had slow instances like throughout high school where it's just like I wasn't getting anything. Like it was depressing, dude. Like I'm sure. I was like stuck, you know, like it was almost like just constantly getting rejected, you know. And
it hurts too.
It hurts, man. It really does something to you. And I think in grade 10, like during COVID, is when it was really bad. Like there were still auditions going on because people knew we were gonna come out of the COVID, you know, the pandemic, and like production would have to start again. But yeah, like I wasn't getting anything, like nothing. Like I was doing auditions every week, almost every day. Didn't hear back. And they were big roles too. And it's just like, you know, it felt like getting rejected by like your crush or something, you know. And I remember at the end of the pandemic, I got the audition for Rice Boy, and that was hard because I wasn't too good at Korean. Like I still had an English accent when I spoke Korean because I speak English mostly at home.
Right.
But that really like it was really scary because my director Anthony, when he made me audition for the role, he thought that I didn't really want to do it. Like yeah, it was weird. Like he saw the look on my face on the Zoom camera, and then he told my parents and me, and he's just like, "You look like you don't want to do this." And I was like, "No, I'm just nervous, bro. Like I'm really scared right now."
That would make you even worse.
Yeah. I was like, I'm really scared because I'm like not great at Korean, like not good enough to be on camera and have it there forever, you know. But then, you know, he's telling me that it probably helps with the character because he wanted to fit in. He probably forgot a lot of Korean, so I understood that. But my Korean did get better, but just like things like that were like, it really like tripped me up, and I was just like really scared, you know. But, yeah. And that's like that Rice Boy did really change it for me. I think it established my career in a much more serious setting, and that's sort of where I want my career to go, because there's people don't know, but there's a difference between television actors and movie actors. So television actors are more like entertainment, you know, just casual watching, whereas film actors are more serious. They're more regarded as, it's more respectable in some ways. That's if some people want to say that, like, you know, you can't compare like Cillian Murphy to a television actor. Like it's hard for people to say that. I'm not saying television actors are bad actors. I'm just saying there is definitely a divide in that career. And yeah, but I definitely want to go into towards more like film and movie.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think.
I mean, you said, is it almost like taking a leap in a way, going from television to movie? Like, are you just treated completely differently, or is it like a whole new sphere? Like you kind of have to like tackle.
Honestly, it's not. There are different like circumstances and things like that. I think like the biggest thing between a movie actor and a television actor is like the pay.
Ooh.
As a television actor, you get paid a lot more than the average movie actor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the you know, the average movie actor makes less than the average television actor, and that's because, you know, there's more ways to get paid. You can do like residuals and things like that, and there's more time, there's more screen time that you're out on. Whereas, you know, if you're the biggest movie actor, you're obviously getting paid more than the biggest television actor. But it's very skewed in that way, and I think that's what people have to compromise, because when you become a television actor, you're also risking typecast. So, you know, like the guy from Walking Dead, I forgot his name. The guy who plays Rick.
I'm really bad at actor names.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
But the guy who plays Rick, like,
we'll flash him up.
Yeah, you will like never see him. And I don't know if he wants to do another film or anything else, because he's so tired, because he's done like what 10 seasons of The Walking Dead. Like, you know, it's things like that you want to be careful of. And I think that's why a lot of TV shows now are ending their shows at a 4-season like thing earlier, so that the actors don't have to go through that and people don't have to go through that.
Wow, is that what? That I've never thought of it that way actually, because we always see the successful jumps from like TV show actors to movie actors, but we don't see how many people actually never make the transition. It's really interesting from that perspective. And also like throughout this, like still in high school, and well, I mean, it's still considered a child actor at that point, I'm assuming. So how do you like, what is that dynamic like on set, or when you talk with your representatives and you're negotiating these sort of auditions and things like that in your roles? How do you feel like the environment's like? How are you treated in a way? Because I mean, they have to respect you just as any other actor,
right?
But in a way, there's like the I guess the life experience where, like, you know, in Asian culture as well, like you're always supposed to respect like an elder person, and things like that. How do you feel it's like when you're in these situations?
I mean, as an actor, like it's definitely it is a luxury, man. There's a lot of like as hard as people say it is, and you know, the rejection part and everything, when you do to get that role, like you're treated like, you know, you are what makes it work. You're right?
Extremely valuable.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, people take that for granted sometimes. Like people overplay that, they have a power trip and things like that, and I never saw it that way. But I think it is something that can give you a big head for sure, which is why a lot of actors and also young artists too, like when they go on like world tours, like they're treated as like gods, dude.
Yeah.
Like that will definitely do something to your mental, like your ego. Like
Yeah.
for sure it will inflate it. Like
Mhm.
there's no, you know, but I think that's what the big issue is. Like a lot of the times, like a lot of actors who get like a big come up like very quickly, they get sort of that big head and big ego, and it just
Kind of lose themselves.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly, and it's hard for them to get another role because they don't even know who they are anymore.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think the process in itself is just, you know, if I do the audition, which my management or agent will send to me, I do the audition. You know, I study the character, learn the lines, do the audition, and then after doing the audition, like they'll send it in to the casting, and I'll wait, and then most of the time, I will have to get a call back, and then I'll either do like an in-person or live audition in like a Zoom meeting and stuff like that, which is always hard to do because there's like connection lag and shit like that.
Yeah, that seems like a weird environment
Yeah,
to have
yeah.
to act in.
And the
Yeah.
Zoom camera, like my Zoom camera is just like it's not that good, like so you can't even see my face, and you know there's connection issues and shit like that. So you know there's callbacks, and then usually after a callback there's another callback. There's different rounds you go through, and then they take the amount of casting down to like maybe the last four, and then from there you compete with the other three, and then if you get the role, you get the role. But again, that process is super. It's you really have to be like confident in yourself, and you really have to like stand out, and it's really hard because there's so many people that are auditioning for the same character as you, and no matter how many people can tell you you look like you fit the part, if you can't act or can't perform well, like it
doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right, right.
So
I mean, based on your experience of like finding success early, and you know, there's like a little bit of a lull for a little bit near pandemic, and you finally book like a big role like Rice Boy Sleeps.
Yeah.
It's interesting because not that it has like exactly parallels with my own career, but I also found success in high school, but a little bit later, like grade 11, 12 for me. So like 17, 18 still, and I didn't. Yeah, the same feeling as like you feel like you're the best, like you're on top of everyone.
Yeah.
Like no one can compete with you. You're the best, and the moment that goes, like you're just lost.
Exactly.
You're like I was like on top of the world like a second ago, and now all of a sudden like I've lost my passion, I've lost my drive, lost myself. Like it was a really difficult thing around the pandemic to have to like stomach and reevaluate my career and things like that. And it's amazing talking to you because I get the sense that like you're first of all really mature.
Oh, thank you.
The way you talk, I still talk like a dumbass sometimes, so it's really great to
I don't
be
think
able
so.
to. Well, not yet. It's really great to like feel that from you, where and also how aware you are of like the position you're in, and it's amazing to hear that, and it's great to see how driven and passionate you are now, even though you may have found success like early on in your life and things like that. And on top of that, you know, sort of the way you got into it was just like you kind of just jumped into it. You had the opportunity, and then from there, like the momentum really kept going.
Yeah. No, it's definitely been a challenging journey because it's not necessarily the work that's challenging, although it is like it's very tiring and things like that. But I feel like it's the moments where it does lull down, like when you feel like you're shit, you're nothing, like nothing is worth it. It feels when it gets really boring, like that is like sort of
It's scary.
It is scary, man, because it gets depressing. Like every actor I've talked to, every actor I know, even the biggest ones, like they've all said it in multiple interviews and things like that. Like when they aren't acting or when they're not working, it feels like it's depressing.
It's like an emptiness.
Exactly.
Because you tie, as creatives, a lot of the times we tie our value into the actual art itself. Right. So when you're not doing that, you almost feel like your life is sort of meaningless in that moment, right? Yeah. And it's not necessarily true, but in that moment you feel that way. So I completely can relate to what you're saying.
And I feel like it is, you know, it gets boring a lot. And I feel like a lot of people should realize, like, not every moment, like, you can be on top of the world, and, like, not every moment's going to be exciting. Like,
yeah, social media really glorifies that, where you only see the best moments, but you don't see, like, the countless auditions where you don't make it, or you're sitting on set and nothing's happening. Yeah. And it's really, like, tedious in that aspect. And
absolutely.
Yeah, so what are your what are your thoughts on, like, the social media aspect of the creative industry? And I don't know necessarily how it affects you as an actor, but, well, there's like the obvious consequences of like things being posted on social media that can affect your image and things like that. But also like in a positive way, how have you utilized social media in order to like make strides in your own career?
I honestly don't know if my social media has ever helped me with my career. I'm not sure. All I know is that my social media did blow up from Umbrella Academy, which it shouldn't have because we weren't in it that long.
Interesting.
It was very unexpected. Like the young cast, we were only in like I think like 4 or 5 episodes, and like under 20 minutes of screen time, and we got like I don't know, like we have like 500,000 followers. It's crazy. And one of my friends, I think Cameron, he has like 1 million. He had 1.2 or, and it's slowly. We're all slowly dropping because the show like, it is coming out in August, this 4th season, which I can't speak too much about.
No, it's all good.
But because we weren't in the 3rd season, we weren't coming out anymore. Like sort of dropping down. I wouldn't necessarily say it has helped with my career, but it's definitely been different with how people on set have treated me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've definitely like, in my opinion, I think people think I have a lot of experience in acting, like, especially with actors. Like, there's actors that I've worked with that are much older than me. They're like have been doing it like 10 years longer than I have. And they see my social media and they think like I'm like a veteran actor or even longer, like been acting longer than they have, and that's not true. Like they are a much better actor than I am, and I have everything to learn from them. But I think the social media definitely skews that sort of perspective. Yeah. And I think for me anyway, like I'm not posting anything crazy. I'm just posting like friends, like family stuff, what I'm doing, and it's not. I feel like it's hard to get into that influencing aspect too as an actor, because the thing is, when you get follows from fans and stuff, they only want to see you doing stuff that's related to to that character, right? Like a lot of my
fandom.
Exactly. Like all of my fans are just like from Umbrella Academy, which I'm grateful for. But if I'm not posting anything about Umbrella Academy, like I'm just posting about myself, it's kind of hard to see that engagement.
I see.
Which is fine. I understand that, but that I think that's one of the biggest things about things like where people sort of, if I start to post about my other projects and things like that, it's hard for people to follow because they're not as interested unless it's something that they're interested in. So yeah.
But does that? I mean, you seem to have a general understanding of like that's okay, and like you understand like where they're coming from. But I'm sure like inside of you, you're also just like, let me prove to you, or like on whatever sort of projects that I like can also.
Yeah.
Part of my career is also like important to pay attention to.
Yeah.
That's sort of the fire.
To
prove people wrong.
I don't necessarily I don't really have that. Okay. I know people do.
Yeah.
I guess I'm fulfilled because Rice Boy after I filmed Rice Boy when I was in senior year of high school, and at the end of the movie I buzzed my head, right? I'm bald. And from grade 12 to beginning of first year, I was bald for no reason to my friends. Like my friends were like, "Why did you shave your head?" I'm like, fun. I just like I did a film, man. Like it's fine. And, like they were like, "Did you get paid?" And I was like, I think I guess. And they're like, "All right, whatever." But like for the first week that I was bald, like everyone was just like
rubbing
my head, like slapping me and shit. And I was like, "Man, this sucks." Like I'm bald. Like it's fine. It's like I didn't really care. It was just funny to me, and I feel like people did judge me after. Like, it was weird because, like, I saw that people would, like... Because I still had a lot of followers in high school up until that moment. And I could tell that people were kind of, like, poking at me.
Treating you differently.
Treating me differently because I was bald. Like, it was almost like a physical, like, symbol of me falling off. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, it was really funny. Like, it was just, like, at the moment, like, I'm at my lowest. Because, usually when you're at your lowest, you buzz your head. I guess people, like... subconsciously thought I was at my lowest and they were just gonna push me down lower or whatever. Like I didn't really give it, stuff. Dude. Yeah. Like I didn't really give a shit. Like I was fine. Like I didn't care. But it was just funny to see like the change when I went bald. Like really, like my hair, like it was gonna, I'm not stupid. Like I could tell you're treating me differently because I'm fucking bald now. Whatever.
Yeah. Would you do it again?
For a movie. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, for a movie, not for fun.
Not for fun. No, dude. Okay. Like. The thing is, honestly, I was surprised myself. I was shocked myself that I would even that I wouldn't care about buzzing my head for a movie. I thought it was cool, and I knew like this movie was different too. It wasn't just for like some small part. Like it was for an actual movie that I could relate with, that my dad could relate with too. So it was meaningful.
Impact.
It was meaningful. So that's why I was fine with it. And up until that moment, dude, it was depressing again, dude. Like from when I finished Rice Boy to first year uni, it was so depressing. Like it was like the summer was great, but like up until that point, it was just like I was not getting any roles either because I was bald. Like
Wait, for real?
yeah, dude. Actually, I did get a McDonald's commercial, but they made me wear a beanie. And I was like,
They didn't give
man.
you a wig or
no,
nothing?
they didn't give me a wig. They just made me wear a beanie. I was like, dude, I realized I'm like the diversity hire here. I was like
Okay.
the only Asian guy that was like bald. So I was just like, whatever. But that was also depressing too. I was like, damn, like I'm not getting anything. Like I gotta wait till my hair grows back. It's gonna be too late.
I didn't realize how important that was.
It is important, man.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think like hair is like a big thing in casting because like you want to fit that character. If it's like a frat dude, you want to have the mullet and everything. Like it won't work if you have the clean hair. Right?
I thought it was usually, as I'm not as experienced on set and things like that, but I thought it would be like the actor itself, like the face and the acting, but like the hair and stuff, you can just put a wig on or make hair
absolutely.
makeup,
That only happens when you're like a good enough actor. When you're already established and they know who you are, then they're like, okay, I know you can play this role.
Okay.
Whereas with just actors that are aren't really established with casting directors still want to see if you
just
can
have
fit
to
that
look
role.
alike.
You have to
Okay, I
look,
see.
yeah, sort of a trade off. But yeah, I wasn't getting anything, and
Were you planning to go into school at that point?
yeah. So I went to TMU, like business management,
Mhm.
and that was my so that was my first year.
Yeah.
And then as soon as first year started, TIFF started, and my Rice Boy got into TIFF, and it was like amazing. And then up until that point when classes are starting, we were just winning every single award, and it was crazy. Like the switch up was insane. Like
It has to be surreal at that point.
it was surreal, and it was also like really overwhelming because like I had like a bunch of management coming at me asking to be signed from like the U.S. I was getting a bunch of auditions and everything that were related to it, and like just meeting all these new people, and it was insane. It was really overwhelming, and it was hard to manage time between school and my work because, dude, I got like TIFF, basically the TIFF film circuit.
Right.
There's a lot of after parties and there's open bars, so you can get drunk. Like you can drink a lot, and it's great. It's fun. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But
fun time.
I have a feeling I got more drunk at TIFF than like Frosh Week.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. Like it was,
Okay.
but it was like free alcohol too. Like it was fine. It was really fun, man. And I feel like that really did. It really did establish like sort of. Instead of giving me a bigger head and all that with all the success that the movie went through, it did establish my love for acting because I realized like, oh, okay, this is how many people I could connect with and how many people that can appreciate my work, which has never been sort of done before in person. Like people have appreciated my work, from Umbrella Academy through like social media, saying like, oh, you're so good, whatever. Like I love that. That's great. Thank you. But when you appreciate your work, like someone's work in person, dude, it's like different.
It's different.
It's like wow, like you definitely feel like not on top of the world, but you feel like you matter.
Yeah, it's like a physical manifestation of like your hard work.
Yeah.
Right. And there is a difference between like getting comments or like people telling you over the internet like you're amazing.
Yeah.
But when someone stands in front of you and like you can look into their eyes and see how sincere they are, it's like hits completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. And that really did like fulfill like me and my artistic drive to like do more stuff. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like after Rice Boy, like after that success of the film, it did get really busy, but then auditions were also slowing down again, and that's fine. But yeah, I feel like the difference between Rice Boy as an indie film and Umbrella Academy as like the big Netflix production, I feel like when you film with a smaller crew and a smaller budget film, you definitely feel more like you're at home, like it's your family. You can definitely feel that way with Netflix stuff, but there's just so many people, dude, and you have a different director every day for a television show.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, most of the time, for TV shows, you have different directors for each episode. That's why most episodes don't look the same. there's different directors.
I thought it was I recently watched
Yeah.
a Star Wars TV show, and there was different directors. I thought that was just like an artistic choice to have like different directors every.
It could be too,
episode.
but it's just to more like divide the work too.
Okay, I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, and like also like give new directors a chance to like
Mm.
direct and get stuff on their resume and stuff like that. But yeah, like it's hard when you have different directors like every episode. It's definitely difficult, and it's hard to establish a true connection.
Mm.
Whereas with like indie films, like you all have the same sort of connection where you're working on something that you both believe in, you're passionate in, and you just grow a bond. And I think
Probably
that's great.
involved with more of the process part too.
Exactly. Yeah. And just treated me like family, and it was great. That's why I loved filming on Rice Boy, and so I'm not too worried about working on indie films either.
Mhm.
Like if I can work on amazing indie films for a long majority of my career, I'm okay with that as well. Not to mention I would like to work on big stuff too,
Of course,
but like I feel like
the time will come.
yeah, and also like there should be a reason why I love doing what I'm doing is because the people that are around me and the people on set and everything. It's a different feeling. Yeah.
That's a good sentiment. I mean, also I have a question because I'm in the music industry, so I don't understand the film industry as deeply, and maybe some of the audience as well. So for an indie production like Rice Boy Sleeps, is that considered non-union work, or is that still union work?
It's still union work.
Okay, that is
It's
still union work.
Yeah.
And then so Umbrella Academy for sure is still
union.
It has to be union. Okay, so what are when you first got roles and were acting, did you immediately join a union? Where's that sort of?
So when you begin acting, you have to do a minimum of I forgot the exact number, but you have to do like amount of screen time and amount of projects you've done to be eligible to be ACTRA. And ACTRA is the Canadian, like ACTRA Toronto is the Toronto Union for Actors. And basically, once you get into the union, what that means is you are under a union and you have certain rules for different sets. So as a union actor, I cannot work on a non-union project.
Okay.
So I can't work on a student film because a student film is non-union, and because there's no minimum pay, there's no safety regulations, there's no sort of liabilities and things like that. Like I can't work on that. And if an actor is working on a non-union project, it is actually like you can face some trouble.
Oh.
Yeah, because it goes against their sort of code and things like that under the union. But being a non-union actor is also good because you can also work on anything you want. So as a non-union actor, you can still work on union stuff.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. You can still be cast and stuff like that. But
not the other way around.
Not the other way
Okay.
around. Yeah. And I feel like as a non-union actor, like it is definitely more challenging. Like it's hard. Like most of the stuff you're doing are going to be like student films or indie projects, and not every indie project is a non-union project either. Like a lot of the indie films actually that are that go to TIFF and things like that, they're all union. They have to be union.
I did not know that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically, it's just sort of more like a verification of like what you guys are doing, if it's actually under all the rules that are checked out.
I see.
Basically, yeah.
Was there? Now you don't have to answer that like more detailed, but like, was there a non-union project that you really wanted to work on, but you had to turn down because you're
yeah, man. Yeah, there was a guy from TMU, and he did a movie called Bake Sale, and it was about it was almost like a comedy sort of student film. And I remember he's texting me, he's like, "Yeah, you want to do it?" I'm like, "Dude, yeah, I would love to do it, but like you got to talk to my agent, like, cuz I can't accept this role, like just talk to her." And then she obviously said no because it's a non-union project. I couldn't do it. There's no way. I understand that. So it's no one's fault, but like literally like less than a year ago, like the movie like won at like a bunch of like these like shows and stuff like that.
Oh shit.
And it was a good movie, and I was like, fuck, like I would love
Could've
to
been
do
on
that.
it. Mhm.
But again, like it's just like something I couldn't do. So it's
Right.
unfortunate, but that's sort of the things that you have to sacrifice as an actor. Like, do you want to like as a non-union actor, you can arguably get more work than a union actor because you can just do the stuff that you want to do. But that's not to mention though, as a union actor, you can work on any film as long as you are like producing or directing it or writing it.
Oh.
Yeah. So, like with Spider-Man Raph, or recent film I did with Carlos, I produced it. I wasn't in the film, But if I wanted to be in the film, I could be because I was a producer.
I gotcha.
But yeah, so producing that was great. And
Yeah, how was that experience too?
it was great, dude. It was really run and gun, man. Like it was just Carlos had an idea. We just wrote a script and we were just like, fuck it, let's just go out and do it. And it wasn't like a set date where like we would film for a week straight and we had all the locations set up. We would just go like every weekend, like once or twice a week. We would go out and film separate scenes, and then we just put it all together. And we premiered that at TIFF as well. Not at the TIFF film circuit, but at the theater that we used. And we got it there, and it got great reception, man. Like Carlos is definitely one of the guys that I love to work with because he's just a friend too, but also he is. Very rarely do you ever meet people that are gonna do what they say they're gonna do, you know? And I feel like that was really what I needed in my life. I needed people that actually took action and things like that. And luckily I met Carlos, and we could just, we did a film together. It was great. And it was just like, that was challenging though, because it was, like going from like Netflix and then seeing that production with your friends, dude, it's different, man.
Oh yeah,
like,
I can imagine.
It's like I had to hold the lights sometimes. I had to do the audio and everything. Like I was doing a lot of the grunt work too because we didn't have anyone on the team. It was just literally Max, Carlos, and I just doing us three, just going out filming stuff around downtown. But it was one of the fun, it was definitely like the happiest moments of my life because like it was just like I loved doing it, and I was with like my close friends, and we could just go out and do what we believed in as well. So
no limitations, just like completely on the vision.
Yeah, it's just like, let's just do it, man.
How was it like from the perspective of like you were in the limelight, you were the lead actor of like certain roles, but now you're the producer, you're behind the scenes, you're holding a light now, like you're not in front of the camera anymore. Like how does it feel, and is that something you want to do more in the future?
Yeah, man, I love producing, and if I could do both, because there are actors that do both as well, I would love to do that. I would love to direct as well, write, produce. Just being in that whole industry, just learning everything about it would be great, because I've been exposed to the best of the best and the most independent things you can do. I've been exposed to all of it and all the ranges, and I think it's great to see how people come together with passion and they do it rather than just going like a 9-to-5 like day job.
Check in, check out.
Yeah, but I would definitely love to like produce. It's definitely different. Like acting, like when you're an actor, you are technically employed. That is your job. You are just like, as much as you could want to say, as long as maybe you're getting paid more, you are basically like a castmate. Like you're the same as crew, sort of. You're still employed. Like you still have to get the job. Whereas a producer or like writer or director, you can make your own stuff and hire people. So technically you're on the team, As an actor, you are on the team too, but you have to sort of get your way there, sort of like convince them for you to be there. Whereas, with a producer or a director, like writer,
you're
like
the one dictating.
Yeah, exactly. You can take control, which I think is great too, because for the longest time as an actor, like I had to bank on, like getting accepted on getting booked for an audition, or like whether I was gonna get rejected or not, But as if you're gonna write or direct or produce your own things, like you don't have to worry about that. You just can trust yourself, your confidence, and make whatever you want to make, and it will help your career. Because making your own stuff, like I said this on Justin Wu's podcast as well, like making your own stuff really does help you as a creative.
Because you get to touch every aspect.
Exactly. Instead of just people doing it for you. I'm sure it's the same thing with like singers and like songwriters and things like that. When you have other people do it for you, do you think you lose that sort of authenticity?
Well, yeah, it's an interesting debate where people like Drake or like Weeknd, they have so many ghostwriters for them, and then like people debate, they're like, oh, like Drake's not actually like writing the lyrics, not actually singing it, or like the Weeknd, blah blah blah. But maybe at that point in your career, I'm sure like if you're like an A-list celebrity actor, whatever it is, like maybe like it does take away from the authenticity, but you still perform the art. But at our level, like as like the everyday producer songwriter, it does like take away from it. Like you want to put your heart and soul into your craft, and you don't want to like let go certain aspects of it to other people, because it does sort of feel disingenuous.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like as an actor, like there's a lot of things that even though I love acting, like there's some things I don't want to do. Like I don't want to act that. I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that I just don't want to take part of,
Mm-hmm.
and that's completely fine. But when you're making your own stuff, you can do whatever you want, and if you do it well, people will congratulate you and will validate you for your work. So I think that's like also another thing with like a lot of artists that people need to realize, like when you're starting out, like no one's gonna be there for you really. Like you can't really just have someone else do it.
Yeah, you got to figure out
Yeah.
on your own path, and then eventually the resources come when
Yeah.
you get bigger and bigger or more experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, and on top of kind of like building on top of what you were talking about, like learning how to produce, wanting to direct, and things like that. What sort of dream projects do you want from there to extend? Because it seems like you're interested in directing and you want to take on more executive roles and things like that, other than just acting itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are actors that also direct their own movies and things like that. Is that something? It's like a dream of yours. Like, what sort of projects are you striving for?
It's not necessarily a dream. I just would love to connect to a lot of people that, that share the same opinion as me and share the same feelings as me and same come up as me. I think like producing is definitely something that's more fulfilling for me. I think directing is very, very much more opinionated, whereas production is more sort of bureaucratic.
Okay.
You have more authority, and it's just strictly business. There's only one way to do it, which I love too. I love there's a lot of power that comes with production, which I love. A lot of responsibility, which I am willing to take. Whereas directing is more just like your opinion, your vision that people are trusting you on, and I think that's very scary. Because because a lot of the time, like when you're a director and the movie doesn't do well,
it's all on you.
You're taking the blame, bro. Like and I think that's what people got to realize too. Like not everyone's gonna like your projects, not everyone's gonna like your work, but that shouldn't you shouldn't lose your self-esteem or your confidence or your drive to do something just because people don't like it. So yeah.
What has been? I'm sure you've touched upon a lot of people within the sets and production and things like that, and through many projects that you've done and so far. Who has been like the biggest influence for you in terms of your own personal growth and like career-wise?
Influence and personal growth.
Like someone that like sort of guided you along the way, and I mean you went kind of into it like pretty young, and relatively inexperienced. Like, was there any like role models or people you looked up to that really helped you like along the way?
Yeah, I had a lot of mentors. Like I think from Umbrella Academy, like Justin Min, my older counterpart, like he is amazing and he's doing so well right now. Like he has a bunch of films winning Sundance and everything, and he's blowing up, and like I'm so proud. But like from when Umbrella Academy started, like we were really close, and him and I are actually the only ones that are close. Most of my young cast isn't really close with their older counterparts, but I can like just hit up Justin, when he's in Toronto, I'll hang out with him and things like that. And that's something that I think it's because we're both, Asian. We both have that sort of community and sense of like things. He asked about my parents and everything, family. And I think that's one of the advantages of being, in a culture, a minority culture. It's like you have each other's backs and you can definitely, understand each other in ways that other people cannot. A secret like sort of bond, right? So yeah, no, Justin definitely helped me with a lot of things and definitely helped me with my career and how I should do things and move forward and things like that. And seeing him now, it's great. And I think Anthony Shim, my director for Rice Boy Sleeps, he was also a great mentor to me. Like he helped me act, definitely made me look at acting differently, because before, like when I was just doing Umbrella Academy and things like that, like the acting didn't really feel too deep. Whereas with Rice Boy, it was like the first time like I cried on camera and how I could really feel like the deep emotions of doing that. And it definitely changed my life, man. And it definitely did establish my sort of purpose and just changing my opinion on everything. So Anthony, it's a great mentor. Like my dad, my parents, like my mom, great mentors as well. And
it's great to, well, I guess I don't think of it this way, but I think if I told my parents coming out of elementary school into high school, I'm like, I want to get into acting with no prior acting experience, they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I feel like along your experiences, like cast or in the rooms, like seeing their competition and things like that, like, there probably is a lot of immigrant parents that are just like, yo, hell nah. Like that's like they can't see the vision beyond
Absolutely.
like disability and things like that. So it's amazing to see that your parents were like really supportive and also like looking out for you at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, they definitely like they still want me to go to school and everything, and I understand that, but they're definitely more supportive than most Asian parents would be,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm super grateful. Like my dad grew up in Toronto in the U.S., so he's not super like he is like in the Korean culture, but he also understands the toxicities and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he's always taught me things and told me things not to do, and you know, like great mentor. And he definitely is. I feel like the reason why my parents are also super supportive is because growing up, like they never really saw me have a passion. I was a very quiet kid when I was younger, and like I didn't have an opinion. Nothing, like nothing mattered to me. Like it was just super, super boring.
Mm-hmm.
But then now seeing me like do all these things, and especially with like our Spider-Man rap film, like just doing it on our own,
Mm-hmm.
like that was just us, my friends and I, just going out and just making that and going to TIFF like that. That definitely made them realize like as long as you know he's happy, like that's what he needs to do. And I think to be honest, all Asian parents, man, I think they all share that sort of in like subconsciously in their head, you know, like that's why a lot of Asian parents like ask kids to you know get a good job, like be a doctor and things like that, because you know when you make a lot of money, you're happy,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that doesn't mean they're gonna stop you from finding happiness somewhere else. It's
Right.
just, you know,
It's just a non-traditional
Exactly,
way, right?
exactly.
And I don't blame them because like things like well for the music industry, like things like Spotify and modern streaming and how you make money off music now is very different from them consuming music.
Exactly.
You know, like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So like it's really hard for them to understand that in the first place. Like how are you even going to sustain yourself? Who's paying you? You know,
Exactly.
things like that. And I would go like Spotify pays me. They're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you mean when I hit play, like you make money? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't blame them from not supporting me initially, or like supporting their kids initially, because it's really hard to understand. And the traditional route is a lot more clear, and they've gone through it themselves, so they can like they have experience in guiding their children and things like that. But yeah, when it comes to non-traditional like creative industry stuff, it's like hard for them to imagine what that life is going to be like, and ultimately they just want you to be happy and safe.
Exactly.
And secure,
Exactly.
right?
Like that's why like security is like the biggest thing too for them. That's why they want you to, you know, go to school. Like that's where the stereotype comes from.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like every parent has a stereotype.
Yeah.
Like every parent wants you to go to school and get a good job,
Mm-hmm.
you know, make money and stuff like that. Like of course that's what you should do as a parent. And I think like a lot of people just got to realize like you have to be understanding of like what your parents feel,
Mhm.
like why your parents feel that way,
Mhm.
and then what you want to do, and what you do fulfill that as well,
Mhm.
right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's like a good way of looking at things and just being mature about it too. Like you can't just hate your parents for that, you know.
Yeah, it's easy to build resentment
Yeah.
from that, but you also realize that they're just adults trying to figure things out. I'm sure
Yeah.
like as you've gotten older and I've gotten older, like we also realize that like no one knows anything.
Yeah.
No one knows what they're
Exactly.
doing.
No
There's
one
no set path, especially in the creative industry.
Absolutely.
Like maybe there's like right ways to do things, and for sure like when it comes to like laws or like union, non-union, things like that. But like ultimately what you choose to do in your career, in your life, is like completely up to you. And that's the same thing for our parents, right? So like I absolutely have no resentment for them. And I'm happy that it's amazing when they share your achievements to people, your family members or people around them. I'm like, oh, my kid like makes music, my son makes music, and you're just like, damn, like it's amazing that they want to support you now. And it's okay if they didn't want to before, they just don't understand, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think like family too is like a big like driving factor in like success, because you know you don't want to be like flacked out in front of your family because you're not doing anything. You
want to make them proud.
Exactly. But I feel like, dude, like sometimes with family, like there's a lot of resentment that can build around family too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, you know, if you're doing well, you know, people are gonna compare you to like you're like, you know, your parents compare you to your cousins and things like that.
Oh, the classic.
I hate that, bro.
Yo, I remember when I first started like making money off music and things like that. They're like, yo, look at your like prodigy 13-year-old cousin that like plays harp and is just like a prodigy. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like I'm not RCM trained and things like that. And also I'm like 24 now.
Yeah, I know.
They're 13. What do you want me to do? Like, I can't go back.
No, like the reason why I don't like it is just like it's so short sighted. Like it's my family, man. Like it's my blood. I'm proud of you. Like that's great, dude. You can't like I feel like that's a lot of parents like sort of build resentment between like cousins and things like that because of that competition, and you can't really get close with them anymore. And it's just like, dude, I don't care. Like whatever you're doing is great,
Yeah.
and whatever I'm doing, you should be grateful to.
Yeah.
Like we're
That's
the
a great
same
mindset.
blood, you know.
That's a great mindset.
So yeah, that's like, well, a lot of people like, I feel like, dude, like a lot of like friends I have that are like Korean as well, like they always like, it's hard for me to get close with them, and I think that's because like especially in the church like sort of
Ooh,
aspect. Like,
that is a whole nother topic.
yeah. There's like a lot of like built up resentment because of comparisons, because of my acting stuff and stuff like that. And like, dude, like I don't care. Like, what I did was, you know, what I did, and what you do is what you do. Like you shouldn't compare. Like we can still be friends.
It's like mutual respect. Right?
Exactly, it's fine. But
yeah. Well, for context, I'm not Korean, obviously, but growing up through elementary school, high school, like even now, like my best friends have always been Korean for luck of the draw, I guess.
Yeah.
And I saw the Korean church. First of all, I think it's a Zeitgeist. I think in the North American, like immigrant Korean household, like our generation and the next generation, like it's a very new and unique life experience that no one else can experience other than you guys, like going through Korean church culture and things like that. And like seeing it from a third party's perspective, it's like really crazy. It's almost like cult like. It's kind of interesting.
Dude, it is cult like, man. It creeps me out. It gives me the creeps.
Yeah, but like, anyways, I completely understand where you're coming from, because like I saw it at every level of my life, and it's I hope there's sociology papers written on this like phenomenon, because it's like there's not that many. Okay, I mean, in our lives there are a lot of Korean Americans or Korean Canadians that experience Korean church culture and grow through it, and their lives are shaped by it. But like, there's, in the grand scheme of North America, there's not many. It's very unique and like minority like experience. So I hope there's also a film out there that gets written.
Oh yeah, no, for sure there will be. It's just like, church culture is like, it is good, but it's just like it can get really toxic sometimes. And that's understandable. But I don't go to church anymore. I'm staying with my parents. Like my grandma still goes to church every day, but you know, even then it's just like she doesn't really ask us to go anymore, you know.
Yeah, it's you should have your own relationship.
With exactly
that religion and that aspect of your life. And I mean, drawing on top of that, are you still in school right now?
I'm on gap year.
Okay, so you're taking like a break to focus on, I'm assuming, your career.
Yeah. It is slow right now again, because there's a strike, and I think there's another Canadian writers' strike coming out.
I just heard about it.
Yeah. There's a lot of. It is needed, man. Like I'm not disappointed in like the strikes and not getting work. Like, dude, like IATSE's the union for film crews. Like they get paid like barely anything. Same with writers, man. They weren't getting paid anything. They were taking no credit too. So I understand why they're striking. It's completely fine. They have my full support.
Was it a result from the U.S. writer strikes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they just want to match it, which is understandable, because you know the Canadian acting like industry is also very small. The U.S. just takes everything, dude. Like it just soaks it up. The best of the best just gets soaked up to the U.S.
It's all creative industry, honestly.
And that's with everything too. Same with like finance and like computer science. Like the best guys just go to Google in LA and stuff like that, right? But in my opinion, like it has definitely like given me a lot of time to think about like my own career and like just chill out with the strike and everything and slowing down. It's just like I definitely kind of feel the need to go back to school too now. I don't know why, but
is it sort of just the boredom, or do you feel like?
Yeah, I feel like a little bit of the boredom. Yeah, it is really interesting to see, because I didn't really like school.
Yeah,
but like and like, dude, it was weird, man. Going from like doing a Q&A in front of like 300, 400 people at TIFF, and then going to my lecture right after, or doing like my morning lecture at 9 a.m. and then seeing myself on screen doing a movie, and then going up and like getting a standing ovation is insane to me. Like I've never had such a crazy, like, not really culture shock. What's like like almost like, it was almost like funny to see, like satire almost. It's like, what a change in like places I can be in. And of course I'm gonna like going to TIFF more, or like going to seeing my movie on screen, or just acting and working. Of course I'm gonna like that more. But yeah,
but there's also value in getting an education.
Absolutely.
And skills.
Then again, that too. And I realize like it's getting an education is like really important as well, because if you don't get an education, like it's hard to really connect with anyone else, because a lot of people are getting it too.
Yeah, it was a little bit isolating when I dropped out initially.
Yeah.
for context, I'm also like I dropped out. I did 1 year school,
Okay.
and then I just decided it wasn't for me, and I decided to do full-time music after that. And
Mhm.
it was a little isolating, especially when my years like starting to graduate
Right.
like a lot now, and you're just like seeing all of them wearing their gowns and showing their
Yeah.
degrees. I'm like, damn, what have I been doing the last 4 or 5 years, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like the fulfillment and the freedom that comes from doing this sort of job is like second to none, you know? Like I wouldn't trade it to go back to school and like get a traditional job and go work at Google or whatever. Like that's not what I wanted. I wanted to live this life as unstable or as like crazy as it gets sometimes. Like the fulfillment, as you said, when you see someone in front of you like literally tell you how amazing your work has like influenced their life is a whole different experience. That's what I want to do. I want to influence people in that manner.
Yeah, yeah.
And in that regard, as you're saying, like that's why I do this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different feeling, man. Like you can't get that feeling, doing something else or doing something that you're getting paid for or whatever. Like it's like I think that's one thing. Like the reason why artists get a lot of them are egotistical because fucking if you're doing who's like a really popular artist that people love.
Ethan
They're
Lowe.
like, yeah, Ethan Lowe, absolutely.
He's selling out shows
Bro.
in TD Music Garden.
Like, bro, Ethan, I don't know how you don't have a big head, bro. Like, same with Coben, man. Like, when we were at the show, at Ethan Lowe's show, and he was performing, like, that was crazy. It was actually insane. Like, there's a lot of it was actually funny. It was a funny story. I yelled out from the crowd, take it off, like the jacket.
Oh, that was you.
That was me, bro.
Oh shit.
And then Coben took like 5 minutes trying to take it off, and he just gave up. It was so funny. That was me though. I was just like, "Yo, take it off." Yeah. There's a safety pin. Fuck, bro. We were just because I think we also my boy John and I also told Ethan to take it off. We're like, "Take it off!" Like right in the beginning of it because we were wasted.
Yeah.
It was so funny, man.
That's amazing. That kind of pieces
Yeah.
everything together because I was on stage too, and I just started taking it off. I'm like, yo, who's yelling that right now?
Yo, so it's funny because Ethan Lowe's show was my first concert ever that I've ever been to. Yeah.
Wow.
I've never been to a concert before.
Well, what a
in my
great
life.
concert to go to. Then.
Yeah, I know, it was great, dude. And I like really rock with everyone's music. And I like it. This is like meeting Kobe and Ethan, everyone. Like, same with like Biko and all of them. Like, this is the first time when someone said they do music and I like their music.
Oh.
Because like in high school it's just like fucking
it's
using
the
SoundCloud.
meme.
It's just like,
yeah,
bro,
that was
like
literally me.
this shit is ass, bro.
That was literally me.
But then like listening to their music, it's like, oh fuck, like, this is really good. Like actually, like this music that I could fuck with and listen to. And I think that's like also like what really established me like my new like people that I hang out with now. Like in high school, like it was so hard for me to connect with anyone. Like there's no one doing acting. Like I had no idea how to even vent to other people, and the only way to even get things off my mind about acting, I had to be working, which was very rarely again. But like even then, everyone's experience was different. It was hard to connect.
You
want to
connect with someone that is your peers, but also completely understands.
Exactly.
Right? I think that's why something like this podcast is great too, where like hanging out with like people in the circle is because you finally get to talk to someone that understands you and understands your life, right?
No,
and
I know.
mindset.
It's definitely like sort of like we're in the journey together,
Yeah.
and and I think like even with the music thing, like it fascinates me, bro. Like I love how the fact that music is just like it completely derives from you, which is hard for an actor. Like as an actor, like you begin with the stuff that isn't really you. You just acting for other people and stuff like that. And I think that's why making your own stuff as an actor is so important, because when you do music, people admire your music because of you, because that's the music that you're making and things like that, right? So, but yeah, I'm like meeting like Coven and all them and all you guys, like it's just like it's definitely like a big like shock to me. It's just like, damn, like like this is crazy, It's just really like it's admirable, amazing. Man. Like I really enjoy it. And
that's amazing.
See how like all my influencer friends, dude, like they all, it's crazy. Like everyone asks me like, well, how are you meeting all these people? Blah blah. It's just like I don't know, like we just have the same, like we're in the same circle too now, and just like it feels like Avengers.
Yeah, everyone just gearing up.
Yeah,
do
exactly.
Something great.
It feels like a team, like a big team. I think it's cool, man. Yeah.
Well, just to wrap up everything, sort of one thing I always ask, like our guests, is that like what sort of advice do you have for, and you're in such a unique situation.
Yeah.
What sort of advice do you have for people who want to get into acting, who don't know where to start, or like are just looking to try something new? I mean, it doesn't have to be specifically for acting. It could be like creative industry in general, or just anything in life. What sort of advice do you have for like those people?
I've been saying the same thing, man. Just make your own projects. Like write it yourself, edit yourself, direct it yourself, do it yourself. Get a group of friends, just do it yourself, man. Like that's the easiest way. Like you could necessarily do it, like get sign with an agent, do a few student films, get signed with an agent, and then do auditions from there. That is definitely, you can do that. Like that is admirable. It's not like a thing to laugh at all. But like if you really want to stand out from the rest and have more experience and be more fulfilled and like established as an actor and doing whatever you're doing with your passion, if you write make your own things, like it'll definitely like it'll have you stand out, like for sure. And like you can also like you learn on the way. You don't have to like have other people teach you things and learn the hard way. You can learn it yourself. And I think that's really important for people starting out. Yeah.
I completely agree. And again, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
It was a really great conversation talking with you, and I learned a lot like sitting here as well. And I hope the audience picked up something as well. It's such a treat to have someone like Ethan on the podcast.
No, thank you, man.
You had such a unique perspective. I think you live such an amazing. You have such a creative vision. Just like talking to you for the first time, I'm amazed just sitting here.
Thank you, bro. Thanks so much.
I hope you guys liked it, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.